Hey everybody, Jim Wiegand here with 199seconds.com again to talk to you about the orphan to son and daughter to heir mindset, orphans to heirs. Again, we're going to talk about fear, part 2. In Mark chapter 4, there is a beautiful lesson. It's on a lake, and the disciples are there. Now, many of the disciples are very familiar with the water. They're not afraid of it, but they respect it. Now, others, like Matthew, are tax collectors. What do they know about being in the middle of the lake, in the middle of a storm, in the middle of the night? But as the story goes, Jesus and his disciples get into the boat. They're about halfway across the lake. They're in the middle of the storm, middle of the night, middle of the lake, middle of their worst nightmare, because all of a sudden the lake just erupts. The phrase in scripture is called a furious squall. So it's not a wind that became more, just all of a sudden, boom, everything changed. There's this huge storm that is surrounding them. Now, back to the orphan mindset, the son and daughter mindset, or the heir mindset. This is what happens. The orphan mindset immediately goes, this storm is bigger than I am. All that I have to trust is me. The end of this is going to be my death, my demise, my destruction. And they do what orphans do. They begin to assign blame. So the disciples, after trimming the sails, bailing the boats, grabbing the rudder, throwing out the cargo, everything they could to survive this, after their strength is exhausted, they realize that they're in trouble and there's really no solution. They're going to die. When all of a sudden it hits them, Jesus, who's the 13th passenger, is nowhere to be found. He's not in the boat. He's somewhere gone. And they realize he is here, but he's sound asleep in the back of the boat on a cushion. And so Peter, kind of the mouth, the spokesperson of the group, goes back and he does, I think, what we all do when we feel like I'm in the middle of a huge problem and God's not helping me. He accuses the character of Jesus by saying, you don't care if we drowned. And here's what just happened. The orphan mindset in a storm allows the storm to get into them, because it's bigger than they are. They can't hold it out. And so when people are in that situation where I'm out of control and God doesn't care, they say things like that. Where was God when? Why did God let this happen? How can God be good and this take place? And so Jesus then, being an heir and a son, walks past him from the back of the boat to the front of the boat, holds up both hands and says, peace, be still. And immediately the storm is gone. And he turns around, he looks at them, and he doesn't say, hey, it was a big storm. Sorry about that, guys. I wasn't watching. He says this. He said, the problem is not the big storm. The problem is the smallness of your faith. You're still not behaving like sons. You don't believe. That's the problem. The size of your storm is irrelevant. The size of your faith compared to your storm is ultra relevant. And so I want to say this to you today. What's the size of your trust in God? What's the size of your trust in the one who's called you out into the middle of your lake, in the middle of your night, in the middle of your storm? You'll find out right away whether it's big enough based on the storms that are around you. And I encourage you today to ask that question. How big is my faith? Because that's really the question. Not how big is my storm, how big is my challenge? How big is Jesus in me? How big is my trust in him today to face everything that I'm about to face? Answer that question. Let it grow. We'll talk to you again soon.